This is it, guys, the season 2 finale of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. Welcome to another video, guys. It's time to close season 2 at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. If you haven't watched the previous episodes at the Brazilian Grand Prix, I'll highly recommend to go check it out before you see this one. Make sure already to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new to making more Formula 1 content. Really motivates me to make more, but heading into Abu Dhabi, let's try to finish this season on a high, where we got our first podium, our first win, and we were very close to get our very first pole position as well at the Mexican Grand Prix. So I'm really looking forward to try to finish the season in the best way possible. So hopefully it's going to be a good one, and hopefully Lando can show what he's capable of, because he didn't score any points so far in this season, with the exception of the last episode where he scored 8 points. So he's not that good, but you can see in the driver standings I think we are pretty much safe, but in the constructor standings we are a little bit under threat from AlphaTauri and Ferrari. So we still have some work to do, and hopefully Lando can help us out as well, which at the moment I don't know if I'm going to renew his contract, because this season Lando's performances weren't good, I'm not gonna lie. He only scored points last episode, his first ones of the season. But anyway, performance chart, Mercedes and Red Bull brought some upgrades as well from McLaren and Alpine, so it seems that we have some last minute upgrades for this season 2 finale. And you can see that from Aston Martin to the likes of the McLarens and Alpines, everyone is very packed together. So it seems that the midfield battle in this race promises to be a very good one. But here we are already on practice, already skipping into the second practice session, and we're doing just our things for the final time this season. And the pace has been really good, as we trended a little bit the track limits on the penultimate corner. We're going to do the same in the last corner, it seems. So all the four wheels off the track, so Tom exposed. And we went purple, and the practice is going really good for us. Went fastest on the second practice session, and we don't need to do the third one, because I always like to do all the practice programs in the first 2 sessions, in order to not wear that much the gearbox. Talking about the components of the power unit, and we're not going to have any grid penalties for this weekend. I think I just changed some to the third compound in order to be as fresh as possible for the last race of the season. But anyway, here we are in qualifying. Qualifying pace has been good, race pace has been good, so maybe I'm expecting to get into the top 10 shootout. So through the penultimate corner, now through the final corner, this should be get it maybe easily into Q2. The lap has been a little bit sloppy, I'm not gonna lie, and for the time being he put us 6 fastest ahead of George Russell and Antonio Giovinazzi. Now we're skipping a little bit forward to see where this is going to put us, and we are right on the cusp in P16. So we really need to put another lap time, which I didn't want to waste another set of sauce, but needs must, we need to do so. We'll see if we can get into Q2, and you're going to join me for the entire lap of this final qualifying session. So through the first corner, it seems that we are gaining a little bit of time, just less than 10th of a second. The first sector was actually kind of good. Here I can't go flat out in this car, maybe with the Mercedes I can, but in this Tom Motorsport car I can't go flat out through those couple of corners. Anyway, through the chicane, make sure to mount those curbs and make sure to put throttle as early as you can, but not that much, because you have a hairpin ahead of you, and I'm really slow against the eye, because I don't know, I just don't manage to carry that much speed against the eye, but the traction I'm good, I don't know. Anyway, you're going to open the DRS, and we are down on our previous best, because our lap was pretty good. There's a lot of time left on the table. It is on the third sector, which is where you're going to gain bits as we brake as late as we can to another chicane. Make sure to not mount those curbs, because that will unsettle the car. Those curbs around here, some of those are really deadly, and it can really, you know, break your momentum, ruin your lap, as we are still down on our previous best. As we're going to start now the third sector I should say, where I reckon we lost a lot of time as we're mounting and attacking those curbs, and I managed to remove that bollard. So voices that. So once again, I'm seeing a little bit to track limits, I'm not gonna lie. But let's forget that, and let's press on, as we are 1/10 up on our previous best, as this corner is really hard, and unfortunately I broke a little bit too late, and now I cut once again the corner. But thankfully it was just a warning, so I managed to still gain time and have a corner cut. So I should have bought this lap in order to be, you know, clean, but it seems that I'm going to press on as we go through the final corner. I'll have a little bit of oversteer. If I crash, that would be some karma, and it's just only enough for P15, and we skip to the end of the session, and I think we are through. Lando Norris goes 7th fastest, and there you go, P16 is ours. But unfortunately my OBS stopped recording after the first phase of qualifying, so you're not going to see anything from Q2, but I can tell you already that we're going to start in P16. It was an awful session, I didn't manage to put a good lap in, so we're going to start our final race of the season outside of the top 10, so maybe this can give us a little bit of chances when it comes to the strategy. So without further ado, let's go to the season 2 finale. It's time for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
Welcome to the Yas Marina circuit for the finale of another thrilling Formula One season. It's been a breathtaking year, and we end it at a track that's been the scene of many glories and heartbreaks over its history. It's time to end the season in style. It's time for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The Yas Marina circuit, just over 3.4 miles long with 21 corners and 2 very long back straights. There are 2 DRS zones going into the heavy braking zones of both turn 8 and turn 11 and offer plenty of potential for overtaking. The circuit comes with its fair share of tricky corners as well, in particular 15, 16 and 17, which will certainly test a driver's braking management. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Why don't we start by talking about Valtteri Bottas? What a season they've had. A well-deserved championship victory, and the pressure now surely off with the title already in the bag.
It really is well-deserved. I wouldn't say it's been a faultless title challenge, but certainly one that has been consistent and well-managed. Here's hoping they let off a bit of steam today and give us an exciting race.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel, and Albon, Perez, Stroll, Gasly, they've taken a grid penalty, and Daniel Kvyat, Sainz, Norris, Max Verstappen and Matsushita, Ocon, Thomas, Kevin Magnussen and George Russell, Raikkonen, De Vries, Giovinazzi and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
This is the final race of the season. Go out there and enjoy it.
Thanks Jeffrey, and welcome guys to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Let's try to finish on a high and let's try to put a good comeback drive, because we're starting outside of the top 10 in P16. Our teammate Lando Norris starting inside the top 10, so hopefully he's going to help us out in the Constructors' Championship, because nothing is guaranteed that we're going to finish in P4, because we are under threat of Ferrari and AlphaTauri. Strategy wise, I was trying to make the 1 stop because I don't want to lose that much traffic, but the tire wear is pretty high around here, so much that the 2 stop is the best way to go. So we're going to see the starting tires from everyone from P1 to P13. Everyone is going to start on the softer competitive tires, and then myself and some other guys like the Alpines and the McLarens are going to start on the medium competitive tires. But I think it's going to be a PS2 stop anyway for everyone. 5 red lights, the season 2 finale is on at Abu Dhabi, and you have a good start against Esteban Ocon and Nobuharu Matsushita as we go into the first corner side by side with the Japanese, and mounting massively the curb in order to avoid contact. I think it is still a free wide, as now I'm going to try to go on the inside, but we are round and we spawn on the season 2 finale only with 2 corners done in this Grand Prix. This is disaster, and we are dead last in this Grand Prix. Thankfully there's no front wing damage, but this is definitely not the start that we wanted to finish the season on a high. And here we are in P22 after doing contact with our rival during this season, Nobuharu Matsushita. This is absolute disaster, and now he's going to be a last question mark challenge in a 50% race. And oh boy, this is the absolute worst scenario, where I'm trying to secure, me and Lando secure the P4 in the championship standing. So we need to dispatch all these guys, starting with the lights of the black markers, the lights of the Williams, the McLaren, no, the Alfa Romeos I should say, and the Haas's. And now we are still at the end of the same lap that we spun, the first lap, and we are already going side by side with Nicholas Latifi. So everyone is bunched up, we have some time to gain, these guys are slow, maybe I can do something. Scoring points is going to be quite a challenge. We need to make these moves as quickly as we can, and around the outside we go of Nicholas Latifi in that very, very slow Williams, and that's us into P21. So a huge amount of climb, but you can see that everyone is bunched up on the minimap, and it was kind of a pit lane start because we didn't lose that much time with that spin, and we spun, and then we carried on the pit straight as we go down inside of Antonio Giovinazzi. Hopefully he's not going to do things very hard for us. He's still hanging in there, so that's pretty impressive from Giovinazzi. A very frustrating season, which so far is not scoring any points, and by the looks of it, it seems that he's going to finish the season without scoring any points. So now ahead of us we have Nick de Vries and Kimi Raikkonen. That is going to be his final race in Formula 1 in this My Team universe, as we're getting a pretty nice slipstream of Nick de Vries, switching very aggressively to the right hand side of the track, and who's going to be the bravest on the brakes. It seems that we actually brake at the same time, so it seems that Williams is pretty good on the brakes, and that was a pretty easy move on the not really rookie, because he raced with us in the second half of the first season, and now we are at the back of KIMI Räikkönen, which is starting on the medium comparative tire. He's going to try the one stop, we don't know, but it's been a very frustrating season for Räikkönen as he's going fast in through the first corner, so we're going to try to go around the outside, and Räikkönen doesn't have any chance in that Alfa Romeo with the medium comparative tires. So like I was saying, it's been a very frustrating season for KIMI Räikkönen. And he's not going to leave the sport maybe in the best way, but anyway, we love Kimi, we're going to miss him, and let's see what he's going to do in his final show. As now we're going side by side with Kevin Magnussen. The first has to clear, and we almost break at the same time. We went a little bit deep, but that is not going to stop us to make the move on the turn, and we are into 17th place. You can see Esteban Ocon already in P15 after a grid penalty, and now it's time to overtake George Russell, gaining again. Look how powerful the slipstream is in this game, and look how powerful our on-the engine is. And around that side we go through the chicane, forcing maybe a little bit onto the curbs to make sure that it doesn't come back, and we are up into our starting positions, P16 on lap 4, and the guys on the softs are starting to pit, and I think that was Charles Leclerc and then the Alpine of Daniel Ricciardo. Lewis Hamilton is pitting as well, and Leclerc is going to fit the medium comparative tire. So everyone is on the 2-stop. I think it's going to be really hard to see someone performing the 1-stop, because the tire wear, like I said, it's pretty high, so much that the 2-stop is the most reliable strategy. The secret is not lose that much time with the traffic, and look at this example. The Prix and Gio are going side by side, and behind them there's Leclerc and Ricciardo, which are going to lose a little bit of time with these guys as they are still going at it. Leclerc is going to probably have a good traction as well for the Alpine, and now he's going to get a very nice slipstream, so we can have a 3-moment abreast and maybe a 4 abreast, which can be really hard in this game. I never had one, but anyway, Leclerc is trying to go down the inside of the Prix, and maybe a Giovinazzi very brave on the brakes. Leclerc trying to not lose that much time with these guys, and I think Ricciardo already cleared the Prix, but Gio somehow manages to keep that position, and Leclerc is going to lose a lot of time because it's very hard to overtake on the first sector. So I decided to wait a little 2 more laps against these guys, and we're going to dress a brand new set of medium tires. So it was a very good stint, considering that we had the spin on the first lap, and I have to lift my hand that probably it was my mistake, that spin, because I was too brave to go on the inside of Matsushita. He was already almost ahead of me, and that was too risky for me, and I had to pay the price, which it was a spin. But anyway, I think we're doing pretty fine in terms of comeback drive, so let's try. I think there's still hope for some points. Some guys might be stuck on the traffic. It will depend of the guys, maybe it will depend of the strategy. Anyway, we see what we're going to get out, and we are for the time being in P19. Ahead of us we have Carlos Sainz and then Nicolas Latifi. Sainz needs to clear these guys, but you can see that everyone is bunched up so much. I think everyone is stuck in each other's DRS at this stage of the race. You can see that everyone is using DRS, with the exception of Max Verstappen, and down inside goes Lewis Hamilton on KIMI Räikkönen. 2 all-time legends going at it, but unfortunately in very 2 different cars, and Räikkönen doesn't have any chance to battle that Mercedes. Kind of sad to see Räikkönen leaving the sport in not that much competitive car, let's be honest. So far he's not scoring any points, and now it's Verstappen's time to overtake the Finn. This is kind of sad, and I'm feeling really bad for Räikkönen. I know that it's just a video game, but you still feel some things that you feel in real life, especially when you live that much a career mode. You can have still some feelings that you should feel only in real life, I want to say. But anyway, we have Lando Norris on the softer comparative tire, so he's going for a soft medium strategy, which is really interesting to see. So it seems that he's going aggressive, and he thinks that can carry 2 sets of softs for this race, as we're setting some personal best, because now we are on clear air and I'm trying to catch Carlos Sainz, which we are doing so, but it's being really hard, I'm not gonna lie, because everyone is stuck in each other's DRS, so I'm not making that much gains on the straight line. So I'm wearing my engine very badly, and he's getting a lot of temperature, and I'm wasting a lot my ERS, so I'm trying to save a little bit at the same time, which can be show to be really tricky, as I'm going to make a late typo on Sainz. That was late on the brakes. Now trying to go right inside, but I'm going to step a little bit on the curb. That is going to unset a little bit the car. The track's not going to be the best, but I'm going to have the second bite of the cherry thanks to the help of the DRS, which makes ERS deploying in overtake mode, and you can see that he's almost down to 0%, but thankfully we made the move on the McLaren, and let's now try to catch our teammate that is at the moment in P12. So you can see that we already have the points paying position on our side, at the moment being occupied by one of the Aston Martins, and you can see that I'm very brave on the brakes at the end of the first DRS zone of the circuit, and I have a huge oversteer movement, which I really need to be careful, because it's a high tire wear circuit, like I said for the 1000th time in this episode. But you can see that I'm really close to Lando, and maybe now it's time to try to make the move because he's not making any move. So it seems that we might go side by side, and I try to take a look around at side through the hairpin, but I don't have enough traction, and like I said, I don't carry that much speed against the eye, but we have a very good chance because we're very far from Verstappen and he's going defensive, so we're going to try to go around the side. We almost break at the same time, but I'm going to break just slightly later because I have more room available to me, and we do the move. But I think Lando is not done yet because he's going to do that switchback, he's going to have that DRS, and bear in mind that we're going to beat in this lap. So Lando, is he going to try to send one down inside? No, he's going to just stick behind, and we are up into 9th place. But remember that this still is not points, but we're going to watch a replay and look at how fantastic it is to see the two Tom Motorsport cars, the two cars, the two liveries that I created for this season going side by side. Actually, we made a little bit of contact because Lando locked up and I didn't feel anything on my POV, so well, that was maybe a little bit frosty for me. Maybe I should have given a little bit of more room, but anyway, because we need to work as a team, so I have to say that it is my fault. So I'm being really bad in this Grand Prix, so I'm exceeding track limits in practice. In the first lap I spun, and now I made contact with my teammates, so definitely I'm not being the best driver in the world in this weekend, and we're going to dress a brand set of soft medium tires. But you can see that Lando is following me behind, so I don't know why Lando is trying to committing to a double stack, because he's going to lose so much time. And this is disaster. Now definitely Lando is not going to score points in this race unless there is a miraculous safety car and he's going to do a hell of a comeback drive. But that is over for Lando Norris to score points, so basically it's me carrying the flag at the moment, and I'm the one that has better chance to score points. On the first lap it was Lando, now it is me doing a great comeback. Look at the train that is being formed, and this is being caused by George Russell on the Haas, and he's going to maybe try to take a look around the outside for Sergio Perez. What a move that we're going to do on the Aston Martin. Now it's going to be a drag race that the Aston Martin powered by Mercedes is pretty slippery on the straight line, but we made the move. He doesn't have any chance. Look at that straight line speed, 345 kilometers per hour. This on the engine is an absolute beast of a power unit, and that's us into P14. But I think we might be, if I'm not wrong, in P11, as I'm trying to get a nice slipstream of Charles Leclerc, really slow through the straights thanks to the DRS. I think he's being held up by George Russell. Now I'm going to try to go run it, and the Ferrari convinces the fans to a move on the Haas, and I think we clear Leclerc, but we still have to manage George Russell and run the outside. We go off the bridge, limping that Haas, doing an awesome season after scoring a single point at the Singapore Grand Prix. But what a double overtake it was. We need to watch a replay, we need to watch the two POVs of Vettel. It was Vettel, so apologies that it was Vettel, not Leclerc, and Vettel didn't have that much room to manage. There's no way that we would go free breast through that chicane, and somehow I managed to thread the needle. It was absolutely worth it, and we are up into P11 if I'm not wrong. But you can see that Vettel was trying to defend, but then he decided out of nowhere to yeet it up the inside, and he ran out of room, and I had a chance. I went around the outside twice, and there you go. What a move it was. Maybe one of my best moves on the F1 2020 My Team Career Mode so far. We're going to watch Vettel's POV as well. You can see that, yeah, George Russell gave me a little bit of a squeeze, which helped me a lot. And yeah, there you go. So I think he's going to spend half a lap until he gets to the first DRS zone behind George Russell. Still in the same lap that we did that amazing double overtake, lap 18. And we are already 2 seconds clear of George Russell, so he's definitely limping in that Haas. And one of the Haas is actually busy. It is Kevin Magnussen, and we are up into P11. So confirmation that my expectation were right, and we are knocking the door for points. And there you go, Vettel overtaking pretty easily that other Ferrari-powered car. George Russell really deserves more, really deserves to have a better car, but he can't do anything for the time being. Going purple on the second because now I'm trying to set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. I'm doing everything in my power to score as many points as I can to help me in the constructor standings. And there you go, fastest lap. We went purple on the second and the last sector. So now we have these two ahead of us, Verstappen and Stroll, which are going side by side. This is going to really help me out as Verstappen goes round the outside of Stroll. Verstappen way down the road in a lot of races. You can see me in the background of the guys, and Verstappen does the move. So it's been a very frustrating season for the Dutch. They didn't win any race this season, and as things stand, because things are really close between Verstappen, Albon and Stroll. As things stand, Verstappen is going to finish behind Alexander Albon. How humiliating is that? If it was real life, in the game it seems that Albon is absolutely a hell of a gun, and he's going to beat Max Verstappen, the man himself, in the final championship standings. And now is our time to overtake Stroll. He seems to be struggling on that Aston Martin. The second half of the season, the Aston Martins have been struggling a lot for race pace, and there you go, we are up into P9. For the time being, we are scoring, if I'm not wrong, 3 points, but I think this is not going to be enough to be ahead of AlphaTauri, which at the moment they are going to overtake us in the constructors standings, and there's nothing that I can do. I'm doing everything to catch Verstappen, but Stroll is not letting me to do that because he's trying to regain P9 as he is very close. So it's time for round 2, and Stroll is gaining and gaining, getting that slipstream, but it seems that our own engine is pretty good. But there you go, he's going to switch on inside, so it seems that he has enough straight line speed as we go side by side through the chicane, but it can't do anything. We placed the car pretty nicely, as now we're going through the final couple of corners to start our very final lap of Season 2, and it's going to be as well the final lap for Kimi Räikkönen. We're going to get that in a few moments time, and unfortunately we're going to drop behind AlphaTauri in the constructor standings. But it's not over yet for Lance Stroll, because down the inside goes Esteban Ocon after starting way down the other thanks to a grid penalty, doing a good comeback drive, and he gets a good traction on those soft compound after. You can see me in the background, but there's nothing that Esteban Ocon is going to do because this is already the final lap, and Stroll is going to try to come back, trying to finish in the last points paying position. This is for the final point of the race. Who's going to be the biggest winner? It seems that Stroll has the nose in front, but Ocon is going to have the better tires, but it's not enough, and Stroll manages to secure that podium. But there you go, Valtteri Bottas, what a season it was for the Finn, where he obliterated his teammate and won his first championship. What a drive, the man of the season, I want to say, Valtteri Bottas, finishing the season on high, wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Then he's going to be followed by the defeated multiple world champion Lewis Hamilton, which is going to try to do everything to not be beaten by his teammate again. And then closing the podium we have Max Verstappen. But now we skip to this man, Kimi Räikkönen is going to leave the sport in the My Team universe. It wasn't the best season for him, didn't score any points, so he's not going to leave the sport in the best way. But Kimi, you will be missed.
That's it, Kimi. Well done. Really, really, really good race. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everybody. We're playing a good year. We won it, but we just have to work harder.
Mode 4. What a good stint at the end. And I know it doesn't mean much for you, but very proud to see this moment. See you later. And remember the full switch off procedure, please.
Good. Thank you, guys.
And there you go, even in his final race in Formula 1, Kimi Räikkönen is ice cold, but he's going to be missed, and we're going to miss him so much when it happens in real life, so it should be sooner rather than late. But for us, here we go through the final corner, and it's not going to be enough to finish him before in the standings, but what a season it was. I can't wait to see what he can do in the next one.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
It's been a roller coaster season then, but they can go into the winter with their heads held high after an emphatic victory here today. And talk to me, what do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
And there you have it, Season 2 is wrapped up with Valtteri Bottas winning the last race of the season, then followed by Hamilton and Verstappen. What a season it was for the Finn. He absolutely destroyed the multiple world champion Lewis Hamilton, and apologies, it wasn't Max Verstappen on the final step of the pole, it was Alexander Albon, so apologies for that because Verstappen was battling with Stroll, so that didn't make any sense at all. But there you go, confirmation results, Bottas, Hamilton, Albon, and thankfully we had the fastest lap. In the last season I was battling with Renault for the Constructors Championship, and I tried to get the fastest lap, but it wasn't enough. But there you go, and then Verstappen in P8, way down the other. Very frustrating season for the Dutch, which is was beaten by Alexander Albon in the driver standings. And then the only DNF, Nobuharu Matsushita, which we made contact on the first lap, and that sent us into last place. But thankfully, we still managed to score some points. And then Lando Norris outside of the points. What a season to forget to Lando. And they have it, the championship standings, the driver standings. Valtteri Bottas in first place, 71 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton. The Finn obliterated the Brit, and then is myself with 152 points in the final step of the podium. What a season it was for me. Then you have Perez and Gasly tied on points, but Perez is going to be ahead because he got a race win at the Dutch Grand Prix. What a season it was from Gasly as well. Alexander Albon managed to jump Stroll and Verstappen in the standings and finish in P6. What a season it was from the tie, considering that the Red Bull wasn't that much of a good car. Verstappen, Stroll, Leclerc and Esteban Ocon closing the top 10, which he got his first win at the Monaco Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel, very frustrating season for Ferrari after battling for the championship standings on the last season. Then Ricciardo, Daniel Kvyat, and then Carlos Sainz. And then you have Nobuharu Matsushita for Alpine, the best rookie of the season with 29 points. And then Lando Norris with 8 of them. And then George Russell, the final point scorer, and who won the backmarker battle with just a single point after a brilliant drive at the Singapore Grand Prix. Then you have Kevin Magnussen, Kimi Räikkönen, which is going to leave the sport, Giovinazzi, De Vries, and Latifi, which unfortunately didn't score any point. Now in the constructor standings, you have Mercedes in the legal run, 349 points ahead of Aston Martin, then followed by Red Bull, which was beaten by 12 points by the brand new team in the season. AlphaTauri, at the end of the day, they beat us by 4 points, and then it is myself in P5, which was a very good season. But if Lando really helped me out, that would be for sure maybe P4, and maybe, who knows, get second place. We'll never know what would have happened if we had a much better teammate. Then we have Ferrari, who beat Ferrari by 10 points. How shocking is that? And then McLaren, Alpine, Haas with just 1 point. And then the only two teams that failed to score a single point this season, we have Alfa Romeo and Williams. What a season it was. I can't wait to see what season 3 is going to have in store for us. The pre-season episode, guys, probably is going to come out Friday, and make sure to stay tuned because it's going to be an absolutely banger one. A lot of new things are in store for us in season 3. Make sure to stay tuned for that. You're going to have an absolutely bang of a time watching season 3 and the other content that I have on the channel. If you're new, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. It really motivates me to make more. Let me know what you thought on the comment section below. But that has been season 2 of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. Now it's time to think in season 3. But until then, I'll see you guys for a brand new video next time. But for now, take care.